TaxAct knows filing taxes can be confusing, so we have live experts on hand who can help answer any questions you may have. Questions like, can I claim my SUV as my home office if I answer work emails in my car? If I adopted 12 dogs this year, can I list them as dependents? And, am I doing this right, or am I doing this very, very wrong? Our experts have the answers to those questions and many others. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Picture this. A curve in the road. A change in plans. Well, what do you say? With the all-new Audi Q3, the answer's always yes. Yes to adventure. Yes to escape. Yes to performance. Yes to comfort. Yes to right now. Because saying yes without hesitation, that's real luxury. The all-new Audi Q3, made for the yes life.
Welcome to the Sportsman's Voice Roundup, your weekly look at conservation and sporting community news happening across the nation and on the Hill. Thanks for tuning in. This is the TSV Roundup. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Sportsman's Voice Roundup, your weekly look at conservation news from across the nation. This is for the week of April 13th, 2026. If you're listening, that means you're in your truck or at your office and you're not in the turkey woods, so maybe you're on your way home from filling a tag, or maybe you're going back out. Either way, if you're out there, continued success. We're starting to see a lot of really great content rolling in, friends, partners, colleagues, and they're just having a great time out there. It is truly the best time of the year, in my opinion. So we won't keep you away from the turkey woods for too long, but we do thank you for tuning in. This week, our lead story, we're going to head to Texas with our senior manager in the West, Kent Keene. We're talking about muzzleloader updates, which I got some good news there. Before we check in with Kent, let us hit the headlines from around the nation briefly. Here in the Northeast, some good news. As the audience well knows, last year we had a chance at making Maine the 25th state in the country to get a constitutional amendment to right to hunt and fish. That did not go the way we wanted. It kind of stopped in its process. At the same time, though, we did have LD 1343, which was brought about by Senator Craig Hickman, who is a Maine Legislative Sportsman's Caucus member. The short and sweet of this is Maine in 2021 got a constitutional amendment for the right to food. In the definitions and in that constitutional amendment, hunting was included. Unfortunately, fishing and trapping and other means of procurement were not. Senator Hickman's bill essentially updated that definition and strengthened that. So statutorily now, Maine residents do have the right to hunt, fish, and trap in statute, and that further strengthens that constitutional amendment to hunt for food. So it is a good win. It's a solid win. Governor Janet Mills, who is a member of the Governor Sportsman's Caucus, did sign that into law on the 6th, becoming public law 642. So congratulations, certainly in order for the folks of Maine. And we do want to acknowledge our co-chairs in the Senate, Senator Trey Stewart, in the House, Representative Steve Wood, who is a executive council member for the NAS Network, as well as Representative Tiffany Roberts, co-chair in the House, all of which co-sponsored that bill. Heading to the Southeast, two CSF priority bills introduced in the Sportsman's Paradise. We're talking about House Bill 1130, which requires public schools governing authorities to offer hunter education courses to students in grades 5 through 12. Second, we're looking at House Bill 117, which would protect the private biographical information of license holders who participate in lotteries conducted by the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. That article from our manager in the Southeast, Mark Lynch, you can head to the website and check out more on that. It is wild to me that information is shared in certain states, and other states it is kept locked down like gold in Fort Knox. Finally, here in the West, if you've been under a rock, at least not been on social media, you may not know about the controversies going on in Washington State with the commission and the legal challenges that are out there. All that aside, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife Commission is set to convene this week, April 16th to the 18th, amid the mounting legal challenges that could distract from essential science-driven wildlife management decisions. Sportsmen and women depend on stable, predictable policies rooted in the North American model of wildlife conservation to sustain hunting, fishing, habitat, initiatives and have successfully restored or maintained wildlife populations. This stuff is definitely going to detract and distract from those. So hopefully the noise can get couched for a little bit. People get there, engage, and the commission gets stuff done on behalf of the agency and what's good for the sportsmen and women and all the citizens of Washington, but not without its challenges. So uh, seems to be par for the course in the West. But again, invite all of you folks to go to the website, congressionalsportsman.org, congressionalsportsman.org. There, you can sign up for the Sportsman's Voice newsletter. Comes out every Monday unless there's a holiday, in which case you will get it Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. It typically hits your inbox. Give us the real email. We don't spam. We don't share your information. This is where you want this information to go. It is a resource. While you're at the website, check out our issue brief catalog, all of our issues that we've engaged on over the past, currently, policy, priority items that are there. Get a feel for where CSF comes down on and how you can inform yourself, legislators, you folks that are making policy, that are tuning in. All great free resources just for you, and you can sign up there now. All right, without further ado, we are going to talk about Texas authorizing updated muzzleloader tech. What does that all mean? Kent Keene, senior manager in the West, welcome to the show, brother. Good to see you.
Hey, Frank, good to see you.
All right, give us the lowdown. What are we talking here as far as muzzleloader tech in Texas?
Yeah, so we're really proud to see that the commission updated a lot of their hunting regs, but importantly, and this is part of a multi-year effort with our friends at Federal Premium and Traditions, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission has changed the definition of a muzzleloader in such a way that the federal Firestick platform is now legal for deer hunters in the state of Texas. Long time coming for this one.
Yeah, no doubt. I was actually surprised to read that that this was needed in Texas. I think you'll correct me because you're reporting on this right now. We're over 30 states, or way more than 30 states, I think, that already have this authorization. It was just some cleanup stuff. In my memory in that research failed to provide me Texas. So what was the deal there, and why did it take so long?
Yeah, so the situation in Texas is not unlike several of the other states where CSF's been working with federal and with Traditions to clean up language. In Texas, per commission regs, the definition used to require both the projectile or the bullet and the propellant, the black powder, to be loaded from the muzzle end of the weapon. This new cleanup clarifies that only the projectile needs to be loaded from the muzzle, which opens the door for the Firestick platform because that powder is contained in that capsule that's loaded from the breech.
Lots of benefits abound with that technology, and for the purists, I would argue, yeah, you don't have a number 11 percussion cap on the outside of your barrel there, and you don't have a possibles bag probably draped across you like Daniel Boone. However, this technology is great for a whole lot of folks that are wanting to come into the sport, extend their seasons with special seasons, or just because they prefer using a modern day inline muzzleloader that, quite frankly, have just as much accuracy and reach as a regular rifle. And you can utilize it in spaces that are built up and urbanized where you cannot use a rifle. In some states, you don't even have rifle season. You have shotgun and muzzleloader only. So, can just briefly touch on some of the benefits of this technology for everybody, and why it's not a bad idea to check it out.
Yeah, and if you haven't had the opportunity to go handle one of these Fire Stick capable platforms, go out there and look at one. What I really appreciate at the end of the day, if you fidget in the stand like me and you scare all the deer off before they get into range, you can safely unload these weapons, unlike other styles of muzzleloaders to where everything's packed down in the chamber. Your options are either to pull the breech plug, knock the powder charge and the bullet out, or fire it. With the Fire Stick platform or the Fire Stick capable muzzleloaders, at the end of the day, you break that action open, pull the charge capsule out, and you're left with a muzzleloader that simply has a bullet still down the barrel. There is no propellant anywhere near it. The other advantage from my perspective, kids, these muzzleloaders are tricky. And so having something where you can load it in a manner that's more similar to other styles of firearms is something that's going to take that barrier to entry, at least that perceived technical challenge aspect, out of the equation and maybe make muzzleloaders a little bit more appealing to those who typically wouldn't try the technology. Finally, one of the really neat things about what Federal's doing here is the use of Hodgdon's 888 powder. I know, Fred, I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten a charge or forgotten to clean my muzzle loader after I fire it and come back and that thing is a rusty pitted mess. With Federal partnering with Hodgdon using that 888 powder, that's a much cleaner burning powder. It's not completely foolproof. I don't want to mischaracterize it, but it's a lot more forgiving than some of the powder options that I've historically used.
No doubt. I think anyone that's muzzle loaded hunting, golly days, if you've used a muzzle loader at any time for multiple years and you've incorporated this into your experience in the fall, I think you'd be lying if you said you never got to November or October and didn't find a hairy barrel. At what point? Because sometimes those things just get left in there for the remainder of the year and surprise, still there in the next season. But yeah, to your point, the ability to quickly release this stuff, clean extract, getting everything out of there, and when you talked about pushing your bullet through with that charge, I don't know about you, but my experience, you kind of gnarl those up a little bit. I end up not using them. I always have to go get another one because as far as the flight path of that projectile and it's getting all gnarled up on the front, like, I'm not a sniper with this thing, but I don't want anything giving me a disadvantage. So when you chew those sabos up, that front piece, it's going in the trash and I got to get a new one. And those are getting expensive. So, again, the easeability of use, the consistency, not worrying about a pour. And quite frankly, the pellets are great, but they're not all the same. They're not all the same grains. Little pieces chip off here or something happens. So getting that consistency, getting that safety, getting the weatherproofing of it, it's a necessary thing to have for the animals you're hunting, as well as the safety of the person using it. And when you talk about barriers to entry and getting kids involved, or anyone that's new to it, that's learning and being mentored, it really takes a lot of the guesswork out. And again, we can have these arguments internally in archery and shooting with primitive this, primitive that, but at the end of the day, as long as people are participating and getting into the sport, that's a bonus plus up for all of us.
Yeah, and Fred, I would be remiss to not give a very big shout out to the staff at the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. We've been working with our partners at Federal at Traditions for years trying to get this done. We recently found some staff who have handled the technology, saw the benefits of it, saw that it didn't necessarily increase the efficacy. We're still upholding that fair chase ethic. And they were really champions for us within the department and with the commission. So do want to give credit where credit is due. Thanks to those staff members. Thanks to the commission. Second time they've considered this, and this time it went all the way through the process. Really a big win. One of the things I do like to highlight with this one, we did it all through the commission's regulatory process. This is one where, we got the win we wanted to see. We didn't go through the legislature. And Texas is a state where the commission has a lot of authority, a lot of leeway, and we were able to work within that without, there have been several attempts in other states to legislate wildlife management decisions. This isn't one of those cases. And so, again, mad props to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, to the commission. A big thanks to everything they did here.
Yeah, no doubt. Outstanding. And that's certainly, you take the bureaucratic process out of this and just dealing interagency and letting those folks with the authority get stuff done. Like, again, another plus up for the sportsmen and women, the license holders, not having to drag this out into a multi-session deal and then not get it done right. So, uh, common sense seems to rule the day here. So good on Texas. Congratulations to you for getting a CSF priority policy across the line with the agency, and now folks go free and go check out some new tech via Traditions. There's some others out there too that are licensing that technology from Traditions and retrofitting some of their muzzle loaders. So there's going to be some variety on the market, but Traditions for sure. Check them out, and Firestick, no doubt it's out there and available for you now where you can. Kent, we'll leave it there. Thank you for coming on, giving us that good news and reporting, and we will catch up with you down the line.
Yeah, thanks, Fred.
All right, you bet. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Sportsman's Voice podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, your support is crucial, and you can help us out right now by leaving a review, filling in those 5 stars where available, sharing this episode with friends and family, and engaging with us socially. CSF can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Together, we can protect the outdoor sports we love and continue to keep you informed wherever you are. That's it for this week. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Stitch Fix. Shopping is hard. Let's talk about it.
I don't have time to shop, so I buy all my clothes where I buy my seafood.
I just want someone to tell me what shirt goes with what pants.
I just want jeans that fit.
Stitch Fix makes shopping easy. Just show your size, style, and budget, and your stylist sends personalized looks right to your door. No subscription required, plus free shipping and returns.
Man, that was easy. I look good.
Stitch Fix, online personal styling for everyone. Take your style quiz today at stitchfix.com.